Hey, I'm Andy. Welcome to episode 12 of Building the Camper. So we're getting finished, putting on the finishing touches. I'm using some of this on the woodwork, just what I've built. It's not really a stain, so it really doesn't, it's not matching. Of course, I've just sort of scrapped this together, but it just wipes on. This Danish oil from Watco, you just put it on a rag and go like that. So I'm doing the whole thing like that. Trying to use the saturated part of the rag and just go like that. Anyway, you've seen people do this kind of stuff before. That's not important. But stay tuned till the end of the video and some bonus footage I like to do. Talking a little bit about my life. I just turned 65 a couple days ago, and on November 17th. And so I've got a message thanking everybody who wished me happy birthday on Facebook and otherwise. So thank you very much, and stay tuned at the end. Well, today is November 16th. Let's see what it says. You can hear the wind. It's not that bad. It's 48, 49. I bought this trim. It's oak. It's outside corner trim. And I thought I could use it to dress up some of this cabinet work that I've done. So you see here on this corner here, I think I could just tack it in. I may have to do a little bit of work, but I could dress up some of the ugly parts. I think this board here, this big 1x2 here, can just go away, and I can replace it with something much thinner like this. So I bought two of these 4-footers. So there's a little bit of work to be done on the cabinets. Not very important. And the closet needs to be built here. It's kind of dark. Let me turn these lights on. That helps you. I need to put a rod coming from about here where my shower curtain's going to be. And I'll just use hardware cloth, hardware tape, I'll show you, to make a attachment. And the clothes rod will go here. There's not much else to do. See, the trim on the corners here is just ugly. It's very ugly. I'll get my little saw out and do all that. And then this piece here needs to get put it there somehow. I don't know how to attach that. There's nothing behind there other than foam board now. And then these are just going to remain ugly, I think. There's nothing I can do about it. I use scrap. Had I used nicer wood, I've done a much nicer job on it. But that's what I had. It's very solid and functional. In the kitchen, I'm not happy with the top. It's kind of wobbly. It's 5mm. It's the same stuff I used on the ceiling. It's not very strong. I do have some cement board, backer board that you put underneath the tile floors and on tile walls and whatnot. That would be a better choice of materials because it's fireproof. Really needs something else on that. It's very flimsy. It's enough to cook on. Well, I left the lights on all night last night. Today is November 17th and it's 10:29 a.m. We've not really had much sun, and this is parked underneath trees, so it doesn't really get sun till the afternoon. But the house battery volts are still 13.4. That includes what's coming in from the panels. Right now it's charging at 19.7, 1 amp, 14 centigrade. When it gets down to 0 centigrade, it stops charging. So I'm not real worried about charging the batteries while it's frozen. You're not supposed to charge lithium batteries while it's frozen. So those burned all night. I didn't even realize. So what's on the agenda right now? Take this off. Right now I'm going to do some of this trim. And I'm going to set you up on the other tripod with the silent camera. Do the trim. It's my birthday. It's Sunday. I'm going to a friend's house to have what little birthday I'm going to have and watch the football game. So I'm going to cut away. Wait, what's wrong with this tripod? Some of the scrappy looking stuff with this, and you don't need to hear the saw buzzing. So I'll put you on the other camera. you don't know. To put these wires into this jacketing, also called loom, some people call it accordion black plastic, but to do it, you take your thin nose pliers, like that. Be careful not to catch the, I don't know if they make a special tool for this, maybe, but the thin nose pliers work just fine. But like that, turn it, close them, run it like that. It's hard to do with you guys in the way here, but be careful with the cutters. You guys are in the way again. I don't think this yellow one's. This is an extra circuit. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to do the whole, I'm going to clean up all these wires with this black jacketing, the loom. Here's a air stapler to do all this little finish work. Craftsman. That one could use some glue and better measurement. A better carpenter. It does dress it up a bit. So anyway, in this episode we're going to be putting in the shower. Finally finishing with the shower curtain. I've got all the parts and adhesives and etc. that I'm going to use. Doing some finishing touches. Getting this thing ready for the road. The cold weather's moving in and I need to get rolling. So look, you got the light right behind you. So we're putting the finish on the wood and finishing the shower with the shower curtain, getting everything ready to roll. I think it's coming along. And then there's not much else to do. Fixing the cap. We're going to put a pass-through. I ordered a pass-through for my booster. That'll be interesting. My cell phone booster. This camper is a sort of a Faraday cage. It's all aluminum and signals don't really travel well into it. And when I'm in a remote area and I want to get a good cell signal, I will have to use my booster. And that's what I'll do. I'll show you how that all works. Maybe that'll be a whole separate video. The cell phone booster. This is my shower curtain mount, bendable. Comes curled up like that. They suggest that you uncurl it. Let it relax. Put it in the size you want it, the shape you want it. Easy to work with because it's got the molecular memory. Wants to go back to where it was. So they say uncurl it and leave it look like that for a day. So I'm going to do some of that. I'm going to uncurl it and I'm going to stretch it out somewhere, maybe under a couple car tires or something to keep it flat. I got an idea. Those two bricks. Just wants to go back where it was. It's not real good. Still wants to kink up. So I'm going to give you this big bag of hardware and no instructions hardly. It says make sure the space between each bracket is, I guess the bracket is an X. It doesn't tell you. This must be a bracket. So these are the guides. These are clips for any curtain you put in there. They're spring-loaded clips. These are the guides. This is really the same kind of thing that comes on the front of an RV. If you want to put curtains up in the front of your RV window, it's really the same kind of thing. And these must be the brackets. These guys. Looks like they mount on an L like that. So that goes in the ceiling. Cut the length you need. Use a hacksaw. This is a user that said they emailed the company and they said they stepped on it, reversing the curled side outwards after the track was somewhat straightened, and put the weights on it to let gravity do its trick. So that's kind of what I just did. It really is a two-person job. It's still twisted a little bit, but I'll mess with it a little bit more later. This is what I'm concerned with, is these. It looks like they give you two kinds of brackets. There's L brackets or flat brackets. Maybe they work in conjunction with each other. That's spring-loaded, so the track will fit into that and clamp down on it. And this is also spring-loaded and does the same thing. But this has an L to it, so you can mount it on the side or flat. Now I'm going to mount mine to the ceiling. So I've got a problem. Let me show you. My shower, I don't know if you can see that, is 22 really by 22. But I want the shower curtain to be 24 by 24. So this needs to extend out. See that? So I'm going to use a flat piece of aluminum to extend it out. I could use wood, but I think aluminum's stronger. I've got a metal beam right here that I can attach the aluminum to. I'm going to cut an 8-inch wide by 24 wide piece of aluminum. And then I'm going to attach these brackets like this. And I'll put you on the time lapse. You get to watch me do all that. Let's do that now. Well, I had to make a hardware store run. This little gap in here, now you can't use the hex head screws on it. You have to use like a pan head, and that barely fits in there. So that's the track and that's the clip. This is the mounting clip. So I'm going to go in there like that. I got to drill these holes out and go in there like that, and you'll see all that on the time lapse. Well, I never was much good at math. I can do a little bit, so I need to cut that to length. So I've got about a 26-inch circle, so I'm going to call it 28-inch. So I'm going to go with 14 radius squared. And now that we have, hey Google, what is the circumference of a circle with a radius of 14?
The circumference is approximately 87.96.
That's not right. The radius is 14. So 87.96 inches. We'll go with it. 87.96 inches. I see a problem. So I'm going to move this bracket to here. It says in the book to leave them 10 inches apart, 16 to 20 inches apart. You have no problems. So this got bent a little bit, but it bends right back. I was losing my glasses. Usually they're on top of my head or in my pocket. Have you ever lost your glasses on top of your head? Happens to me a lot. They're sitting on top of my head and I lost them. So it's going to be hard to screw in. Let's see. Clip goes on the outside. I'll screw it in the front and then I'll screw it in the back. That's what she said. Now I can unclip that and screw in the back. That's probably the easiest way to do it, is to screw it in the front. I've got an extra hole there. Oops. this stuff left over. It's breezy. Could I make a regular curtain over the window here with this? Yes. I can make 2 curtains. Got leftover hardware, so I can repurpose all that. Make a little curtain here. Why not? And a little curtain here. Hide some of this stuff a little bit. So, what's today? It's the last nice day weather-wise, so I think I'm going to do that cone. I think I'm going to try and fix this as best I can. It's got some daylight, so hot glue I think is a good choice. Silicone and tape. I've got 2 choices on tape. I bought this, which I've talked about earlier videos, and I have this, which is Eternabond tape. You put this on, it's black and rubber. You put this on and you can't get it off. And I think this stuff's very similar, maybe thinner. I haven't opened it yet, so I don't know. But hot glue, the ladder up there, the tape's pretty sticky. I would have to get the heat gun. Now, I also bought a pass-through. It's going to come out somewhere here. It would be easier to go through the plastic. Go back inside where it's not windy. So here's the cell phone booster. Now this antenna will ride, I suppose, in the vehicle, in the Sequoia, or if I get a pickup, in the pickup truck. But the cord has to go, let me back up. This antenna needs to be separated from this receiver and booster 20 feet. So this will be mounted in here, and then this antenna cable will need to be passed through each time I want to hook it up. So the easy thing to do would be put a little pass through there, mount that there, and be done. And then that can ride in the vehicle, and then when I want to deploy it, I would do that. And this uses a 5-volt circuit. So another lighting circuit. And of course it'll go around like this. So that's sort of the projects working in this area today. It's the last nice day weather-wise. The rest of this stuff I can just work in here. The outside cone is the big thing. The pass-through is not going to be here for a few days. I can drill the hole though, and now we'll see. I can do some of it. I can do all the electrical for it. All that would be left then would be the hole. See, these don't leak. These are lights, and they're screwed in. It's heavy plastic, like thick ABS, I think it's called. So you can see how big the crack is now. It's big. You can feel air coming through it. Anyway, now that I've removed the tape, you can see how big the crack is. Focus on it. Anyway, so the adhesive that's on it, I need to remove. I've got this adhesive remover almost out of it. I have to remove that, at least the outside part of it. So there's another crack over there. So I'm just gonna, I think, remove the adhesive, clean it up real good, and then retape it. It's kind of hard to show you on film because I've got that camera that doesn't have a microphone on it, and the microphone wouldn't be good anyway because it's really windy out. So I'm not going to really film it all. I'll show you when it's done. This was really difficult to do because that glue would not come off. I used a heat gun and a putty knife and got it the best I could, but it sucked. So this I bought off Facebook Marketplace. It's a DC output transformer, so it'll put out 0 to 30 volts. So this accepts, I think, up to 24 volts. So I can charge while I'm plugged in. If I ever plug in, I can just mount this somewhere, and my clothes will be here, but I can just mount this somewhere here and attach this to the ground, the black, and the red I can attach here. And then when I'm plugged in, my motor won't have to be running, and I can, I don't know where, but maybe inside here. And then I can just run those wires to that. I can mount it, I think, in any direction. Maybe like that would be good. Just have to figure out a bracket or something for it. And then, so I've got that, and I can charge the battery off of AC that way with that. Just using that DC to DC function. So I got that. Now let me show you the problem we've got. And I'm just going to put you on handheld here. Windy. I've tried everything on this stuff. I took the tape off. I think some of that was on video. The heat gun loosens up this adhesive, but The chemicals are doing nothing. I've tried lacquer thinner, of course, and I tried that 3M adhesive remover, and it just makes it gluier. So the only thing that's been working is scraping it with the putty knife and heat gun. And I'm done messing with it. I think it's just going to be what it is. I can't get it clean enough. If anybody knows how to get that adhesive off of there, it sticks right to this stuff. The guy that, whoever did it before me, really used the right stuff. It's glued on there. And I've still got that one to deal with. And I don't need to bring you along for that. The tape I've decided to go with is this rubberized forever tape here. That seems to be patched up. I'm going to leave that there. It's not bothering anybody. Did I show you the finished? It's pretty sturdy. It goes into the metal in 3 or 4 different places. That's really sturdy. That's a piece of aluminum. If you didn't see that video, or I guess that was earlier in this video. And I oiled the top with that. Next on the list, wire in for these lights, 3 more lights, and the booster. I'll show you the outside. That Jimenez tape, pretty good stuff. The other stuff I forgot is a white color. So I put a little bit of it in and then I coated over it with the black. But that's good tape. Jimenez tape, or whatever it was called. And that's going with me. That'll ride right in the RV with me, just like an emergency deal. This stuff didn't work for nothing. Adhesive remover. I had to use the heat gun and scrape it off with putty knives. That's the only thing that worked. A little bit left up there. There's no way to get it off. It'd take hours. It's just not worth it. I think we're done with the outside of the RV now. With all the everything. Lights. Everything's done. Wiring. So it's all about the inside now at this point. Only got, I'm going this way, to hang these up somehow where it's not going to bother me while I'm sleeping. 3 of them. Maybe not all 3. Pretty much done. Just do the wiring. That's it. Tell you what I'm doing. I screwed that in there. Now it's powered off the 5 volts off of a USB. So I found this in my stash and it has a USB on it. It's a reading light and it's just going to have to do for cooking. It'll be my cooking light, and then when I need to have a little more light while I'm showering, I can just point it over that way because it swivels. So I don't need to use all those 3 big things. I'm just going to use this one, wire it into this blue extra circuit I had. So this is the ground wire for it. So I've got these solder connectors that use heat shrink and solder, and I've never used one before, so this is a first. I think it might be safer to use some thin nose pliers. That. Now they look like they're ready to make the connection. Looks like it melted. Oh, it melted. I don't think you need that much heat. I think you can just use a heat gun. That's too much heat. Just try it just with a lighter. I'm going to put some heat shrink over that now because that's exposed, but that's going to be solid, I'm pretty sure. See if this one fits. It barely fits. That should work. Let that set for a while. It doesn't have to be very long, it only has to go to here. So I put another ground site here. So this is the ground wire. So it really doesn't have to, I almost didn't even need it. I really didn't even need it. Stupid. Guess that stays on all the time unless you unplug it. It's gonna work out great. That light does pretty well. On the cooking surface there, you know, I think it's good. I have the booster. I just need to put the pass-through in, and that's in the mail. So, getting almost done. And curtain. I mean, hanger. Sharp. Clothes hanger. Right there. That's next. I'm not putting the shower in yet until I've got room for everything. Oops. Okay. So this, the recording, yeah. Okay, good. This is just hanger tape. You know, you hang ducts with it, pipes and things. Plumbers use it. Plumber's tape, they call it, or hardware tape. You can bend it a little bit so I can bolt into here. You can see right there. You know, I want the hanger to be pretty high there, and then I can the same thing here. And I think this is probably enough. And then I've got the pipe, which is just some old conduit. And then I'll have a place to hang clothes. And I'll be able to slide it over when I want to take a shower. I'll put the hanger to about here, And then, so I don't have to bump into the clothes when I'm taking the shower. I can scoot them over a little bit. That's it. Keeping it simple. You know, this just checks off another thing on my list of what I need. I need a place to hang clothes. I thought about putting it there in the back. I would have room from the door over there, and I could use hardware tape and hang it. And I could still do that. You know, have it going that way. I can still do that if I need more area. I can hang coats and things there now. So that's what I'll do. I just put some hooks. Well, I'm running out of stuff to do. It should be okay. It'll kind of hide all this mess with the electrics. It rides above the refrigerator. I need to find a home for this. This would be my charger. So I still have a pass-through. So when I'm plugged in shore power, I think I told you about this. It hooks right into here. The DC to DC charger. And because this puts out a direct current of 0 to 30 volts, and I can adjust it. And this, I think, accepts 24, if I'm remembering right, up to 24 volts. So I can set it at 23, forget it. It'll charge when I'm plugged into campground or anywhere. So that's not quite level, and I don't care, because the clothes will naturally want to settle that way, and that's fine with me. It's sort of nice. I've got the netting up. Hopefully it's strong enough to keep everything. Everything will be in totes anyway, and I think it'll be alright. So those are the drawers I'm going to use for clothes. The shower's not in yet because I'm using this area to work in, but I think I'm about done. So on the next one, or tomorrow, whenever I feel like working again, I'll put the shower in. I'm going to have a little bit more electrical to do. A lot done today. Did the exterior work that needed to get done today. I did put this circuit in for the light, and then you just plug that in and that cell booster comes on. That little light, it's a little reading light, perfect for cooking. So we did that today. Did the cargo netting, closet. It's a beautiful day. I'd like to finish working, but I don't want to work so much every day. I've already put in a good solid 4 hours out here. All right,